Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
We don't need gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
We are live, day 2 contest weekend here at Circa Resort and Casino. Down here having a lot of fun, helping promote their football contest, the largest sports book in the world, right here at Circa Resort and Casino. They've got the odds up on the screen there, including the contest odds. Week 1 NFL odds, the Chiefs -3 to kick off the season here in about 2 weeks. And then they've got their millions, their Survivor contest. We've been telling you all about those. Again, $1,000 entry. You can get in. You can win up to $16 million in prizes. And we're here as part of their contest weekend promoting the shows. 37 radio shows and podcasts from around the country are here. And Bronco Nation News is one of those. And we are excited to be here for day 2, and we appreciate everybody at Circa for helping us out. And you see our setup over there in the corner, and we bring you live with a couple of special guests today. We got our man Brad Bedell. Now we can call him a BNN analyst with us here on a second appearance of the week, Brad. So we appreciate that. And then you brought a special guest with you as well.
John Molchon. Here we go. Hey, tell Circa just cut the check now. I got it.
For what? The show? Oh, the championship.
Yeah, the show.
The $10 million.
I'm not here for this. Yeah. Just tell them to cut the check. I'm good.
You're entering the contest. So we're going to have some fun all year on Wednesdays, maybe talking about some of our picks for the week and getting other folks' ideas. So, again, quickly, I'll mention it. $10 million guaranteed in the Survivor contest, $6 million guaranteed in the Millions contest. And you have 126 ways to win. There's quarterly prizes, season prizes. You even had somebody yesterday email me, hey, man, if I Venmo you, can you sign me up for the contest? I said, we can get that done. So we're here all day today. We can sign you up. You get a cool hat and a chance to win a lot of money here coming up. So let us know if you can hear us okay and it sounds okay. And we're excited to be here. Hopefully no technical issues. We'll blame Jason Beaver for that if anything's wrong.
Totally fair.
But happy to be here. And John, happy you're living in Vegas now. We just thought Brad brought up the idea of having you come over and hang out with us for an hour. And we're like, hey, why not, man? Let's have some fun here. So I appreciate you coming over, man.
Yeah, Brad sold it to me. I had a nice little leg pump this morning. I felt amazing. I'm ready to roll and have a good time and talk about life.
Brad, I know he's one of your favorites.
He is. So he's one of the core crew. When I first got there, Scooter recruited him, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we came, I had to interview, and it one of the weird things about that interview, not weird, that's the awkward, but I had to go in the meeting room.
Oh, well, yeah.
And say, and you guys gave me shit for it forever.
Yeah.
Because I came in and I said, this is the way it's going to be. And if you don't like it, the way it's going to be, then I'm not your guy.
I don't know about that. I think it was. I think this is the one time you gave us a little bit of emotion, and you sold it to us on a different level. I'd have to go check back because that's been a while ago. But I think you've always done a really good job bringing the emotion to the game, and then also kind of being that douchebag coach that,
That's true.
Coaches. Yeah,
It's fair.
it's the tough love thing. But no, I felt like you sold the hell out of that room very quickly and captured that. Obviously, that mentality of if you're not going to like it, you got to get out. I think definitely applied to a lot of things in that room. But as far as the guys that I'm really close with to this day, it stood well.
So that was a pretty easy decision then after hearing what he had to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like what we were gonna do, leave. Like that wasn't an option. But at least we liked the guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
He sold us, and it was a pretty good transition, and it was fun from then on.
I mean, what's wild is that room created Ezra, John, if you can believe it, Larson, Queso, all first team All Mountain West.
And OJ came around.
OJ came around.
Stetsy.
He was first team.
Stetsy did well.
Stetsy, who walked into the door like a homeless person and said, "Hey, I want to play football," and comes around in spring ball and ends up playing a lot for us and going on to he played the UFL, the XFL, and now he's actually coaching in Dallas.
Oh,
Stetsy
cool.
was at my house, and we may or may not have had some beers by the pool in Harris Ranch, and he's doing really well.
Oh, that's good. And then we still have guys that are playing today that were in that room,
Yeah.
and maybe not that year, but that came around to the group, and it was just a good ride.
We had fun.
A lot of good comments already coming in. Chad Bocut says that hair is majestic. Wow.
I would agree.
I appreciate that.
I would agree. I mean, yeah. Look at you. It's
I
like
didn't know
it's like a
HR. I
lion,
didn't know HR
man.
people could have hair like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Hippie.
There's no hair rules there, so no. It's been growing. I've only had 2 haircuts. That's the best part, and it's not like I like doing my hair. It's just I don't like paying for it.
Well,
that's fair.
You're living in Vegas now, as we said before. We kind of get into some stories and talking about the team and everything and having some fun. What is the update on what you're doing these days?
Now I'm just really focusing on my life, and I got a new career. I'm doing HR, which is crazy because I was a finance guy. So it's cool. I love people. I love benefits, and it's been fun to kind of re-navigate and refocus in those areas. And it's really given me a lot more freedom and work-life balance to be able to work out myself mentally and physically. So down 50 pounds, trying to stay nice and strong still. I don't want to be a string bean. So it's been fun.
Always hear those stories about linemen. Sometimes you're well over 300 pounds, and it's actually then you see him like Garrett Larson. I didn't even recognize him when I saw him.
He looks like a crackhead.
Yeah, we did it. We've all done it different ways. Me, Queso, and Rat have lost weight in very different ways.
Very different ways.
That's always a crazy thing, though. Guys come there, and then, like I said, you see that a lot, though, and whether they leave college or pro, and it's pretty quickly, too, right? That you're able to just, when you're not on that regimen and having to eat as much as they probably make you eat up there in college.
Right. Well, the other thing is, O-linemen lose weight, DBs get fat.
Running backs, too.
Running backs get fat, too.
Their bodies, too.
No offense. Shout out to Lee Marks. And I love Lee.
Oh man, we're off and running. I know you're obviously you played in the NFL. You've been busy and stuff. I know you do obviously still root for the alma mater and follow them as much as you can. What's just your take on the team right now? And there's obviously a lot of excitement in Boise and around Bronco Nation for this team and with the new 12-team playoff and all that. And there's a lot of excitement and with Spencer taking over, and I'm sure you share that excitement as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of my excitement really comes off of how well we did last year. I think I was really able to follow that year through the lows and all the way through the highs and get really close with a couple of those guys, those seniors. And I just think like that excitement throughout last year, and just kind of the belief that I was able to continue to have as an alumni, and not just berate guys on online when it wasn't going well, and watching it pay off at the end with the vision, I think was very rewarding for me. And that's really where it transitions over into this year. I mean, I have not kept up daily with the Broncos. I've been more on the professional side as far as my news and updates. But I mean, what I know is Spencer's going to put together a really motivated team. And, I really do love our mentality on offense, and I love our ability to get takeaways on defense. And that just has always been our bread and butter. So I feel very good that I don't need to watch every single day in their updates, because our culture is important. And I think that will, stand the test of time no matter what.
And go ahead, Brad.
Well, I mean, it's a reason why Boise State hires within Boise State. I mean, if you really think about it, right? So it went from Coach Pete to Hawk, right? To Hawk takes off to Colorado, and then Horace. Am I right there? So Boise State.
Yeah,
and
some guy named Chris Peterson.
I said Pete, Coach
okay.
Pete.
Yeah, you said Hawk and then Harsin. I thought. Sorry,
you're not paying attention to me. I'm just kidding. But that goes to show that Boise State's special, and I think within the culture, you have to hire within that culture, because if you bring somebody from outside, then the buildings will get torn down. That's the way it is. I mean, think about it. You've been through have you been through a coaching change? Like a head coaching change?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Not with the Bucks. Not really.
So when that happens, you have to let a new head coach come in, and either does he like blue collar? Does he not like blue collar? Sorry. But it's the way it is, right? So when you keep a culture the same and you hire within that culture, even as a coach, it's like getting recruited essentially. Is he going to fit the culture of an offensive line room? Is he going to fit the culture of Boise State football? And if he doesn't, you're not going to get the job.
No,
you're not. And it's the way it is. And I think even through this NIL time, that's what I love what Spencer is doing a little bit, is we're going to reward the guys that are playing, right? But they have to earn it. But also, again, what you're doing with BNN and things like that is you surround these young men in the community, and it's going to pay in the end.
Yep.
Are they willing to stick around? That's what's going to be key.
Yeah, especially now, because I mean, you didn't have the transfer right away, right? I mean, you said, where were we going to go? I mean, that's a whole different conversation if you're having that conversation now.
There's no doubt. I mean, to be quite honest with you, him, even I would say John, Ezra, Queso, and Lars' senior year, going into his senior year, I would have had to re-recruit all four of them, right? But now you're looking at a guy here with John and Ezra, the main two, right? But you're looking at a $500,000 evaluation,
which is crazy. I mean, at the time, you were just trying to get your next 30 rack.
Yeah,
beer.
That's fair. I agree. You're trying to get a breakfast burrito, a beer, and then work out.
And that's why like Bedell was so successful with us and keeping the room and making sure that we were tight as a group. Is he worked with us, our terminology. He worked with us as far as how we've done things before. And then once when we got that, he felt that trust. He was able to make that impact in the O-line room. And it always stemmed from the history. And Bedell knew about the history of Boise State well before he showed up. And I think that's the important thing about what we have here. It's so precious. And, there's a lot of external noise, especially with the new rules and NIL. And it's so important just to keep that prize culture intact.
I agree.
Do you ever think though, and kind of feel like, oh man, if I had just been 8 years younger and got to go through this experience now in terms of making money in college and things. I mean, you're a little different. You went on and made some money professionally than some of these guys, but the opportunity that some of these kids have now to make money in college, I'm sure is something that you're kind of like, man, why didn't that happen 5 years later?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it at all. I love those memories. And I think what I take pride in, and this may just be BS because I never had a chance to look at that. I wasn't a senior that immediately exited that. There was at least some time in between, but I really do love the memories I had. And those were priceless. I mean, my best man, Garrett Larson, and the whole crew being at my wedding. And the rivalries we had, it meant something. The bowl games we had, it meant something.
Yep.
There was no playoffs, and that's all you had to take pride in. And I don't know, maybe those guys feel the same. And if so, awesome. And they're getting money.
Speaking of bowl games, man, that 17 Oregon game, the Vegas Bowl down here, I keep thinking of that every time I come to Vegas, and we were talking about that yesterday, but that was a fun game.
My gosh. Are we still on have them like completely beat?
3-0. Yep.
All right.
Until you've got to play them in week 2 this year.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. All right.
Enjoy that 3-0 while you get Brad's.
Different Oregon team.
Yeah.
But yeah, 17.
They're ranked number 3 in the country this year. They are. So that's going to be a tough one.
Those dumbasses continue to bring Sonic from the field, which is 2 off the edge for anybody that's asking. It's 2 off the edge, and we just ran zone away from it. Touchdown. That game shouldn't even been even closer, but ripped through a pick 6 late in the end of the first half.
Yeah, the half.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. I got lit up on the sideline. Are you kidding me? Boom. On the away team too.
Right.
So it was extra salt in the wound.
And I bet you they didn't say anything.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't remember that part. I can't even believe that I remember getting lit up, but yeah, that happened. But
I don't remember, Brad, if we talked about this on the air or off the air at the pool yesterday or what, but that little thing you guys did with the 4 guys spinning around, and then that became a kind of a national meme or whatever when it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Ryan Wolpin?
It was Ryan Wolpin that scored.
Okay.
But the
little twirly thing,
and then you have a play, the twirly thing, and you hope they when we shifted back in that they weren't paying attention. They're like, oh, they're just bullshit, and you ran power.
Yeah. I love the eye candy. Like that's what's fun about Boise State. Each week there was a new fun thing to do. And that's what kept the game fresh and fun. And like you stuck to like your duos and your inside zones and things of that nature. But like, why not have a little eye candy and have some fun with the game? So
what was the favorite game that you played in at Boise State?
I don't know. The favorite?
Or a memory from a game or anything that kind of,
wasn't Oklahoma State.
It wasn't Washington
Virginia.
State.
It wasn't Washington. we lost very few.
A lot of good wins in there to choose from.
I mean, Oregon has got to be one of the cooler ones. Yeah. I mean, it's all about Ducks over here in the West Coast. So that was a big one. Or any of the Fresno games. Those are always fun. It was nice to get some games in against the same opponents. And
the BYU games are fun too.
Oh, don't even get me started. Like I love the rivalry. Like, and
it's a shame that they don't play every year again now.
It's a frustrating thing. And you know, my wife's a Ute, so we both share one thing in common. And I loved the rivalry. It was vital. So
here's one. So personal fouls, I'll eat one, right?
Yeah.
You know, I eat, and then if you get a thing or if you get a flag, I'll go in and go, okay, guys, I'm full. All right, I'm done. Can't have another one. So when I can't remember the year, Ezra got 2 back to back. Apparently, the story is he didn't understand the rule. So he thought he was gone. 2 personal fouls, you're gone.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently, did he or did he not go into the huddle and say, all right, boys, that was a fun game. I'm out of here.
Yes. but Queso would always take that. Like, he would fill you up with those fouls quicker than anyone.
Quick. Like, within the first quarter.
Eric Quevedo is a quiet guy. And, you know, he didn't really get a lot of coverage in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, Larson probably got a decent amount of coverage in the wrong way. But Queso was a silent killer out there. So...
By the way, I got to ask about this because I think you guys had some sort of secret bet. I know Larson must have been involved with how few words he could say in a press conference one time. And he got out there and maybe had about literally in a 2 minute, you know, we finally just stopped asking questions. He's giving us yes or no or very quick answers. And I think in about a 2.5 minute press conference, he said about 50 words total. And then we never requested him again, which was probably his goal to never have.
That was his goal. I don't get it. Like, sometimes I don't get it. Like I remember like hyping him up and, you know, calling him a gritty player, and he like cheesed on that, and he thought it was the softest thing ever. But I don't know, like Larson needed to open up a little bit, but now he's a king, so I love him. The man.
I love him.
So Cleveland thought he was gone though. Sorry, that was the story.
He did, but
he didn't understand. And then remember the halftime, I got ripped. I mean, ripped. And I go, Ezra. He's like, I'm done. I was like, no, you can play. It's not 2 personal fouls. You got that's unsportsmanlike conduct. And he goes, oh, all right, cool. So I can continue to play.
I think my favorite memory on the field, like a specific play, was when we were playing Wyoming. We were driving the ball down. It was at home. We play them all the time. So I don't even know when this was. You'll probably remember. It's like a guy like 90 something. He was the 3 tech, and we had a combination block, and we drive this dude off the ball, and we snap his ankle. Completely snapped his ankle, and he's squealing. Yeah, with Mason. He's like squealing and freaking out, and like you don't know what's going on in the game, and like we're just like laughing at the poor guy. And he's a really nice guy. We saw him the next year, but I mean, I think that was one of the crazier moments in feeling football. You're just numb to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, nice guy. I mean, come on, he'd try to snap your ankle too. Oh, man, I'll never forget that. That was in the red zone. We were going into the offices, so that away from the new scoreboard side for anybody who's. And Mason jogs off, and because they had to call timeout or injury timeout, right? So they're coming off. These 2 are laughing. And I'm like, what are you guys laughing at? I was like, I think his ankle's broken.
It's gone.
And I'm like, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's the way it is, right?
We can't score touchdowns, so
you take pride in not intentionally hurting anybody.
No.
Let's not do that. But that's the way it is. That's just the way that's life in the game as an offensive lineman, right? It's either they're going to try to get you, or you know what? You snap ankles and you move on. And I think we scored. That was the same game that Rip ran quarterback power that nobody thought.
Such a fun game.
Fun game.
We ran the heck out of the ball. Oh, It was so good.
What about on the road? Favorite? You said you mentioned Fresno. I know BYU. Was there any road venues you loved going to or hated going to?
New Mexico. Because you could hear the fans just talking crap. They said the best stuff.
Or a conversation.
Exactly. It was the best stuff. It was like full on just giving it to us. And there were some comments to Rat or Garrett Larson, and he had the rat tail at the time. And you could only imagine some of the awesome stuff that we heard from the fans.
I didn't know they had enough fans there. I guess there were so few fans you could hear each one of them that were saying something, but I never remembered big crowds down there for the New Mexico games.
They just like hanging out behind the O-line area and just kind of giving it to us. But no, I mean, like Fresno State, all the trash talking super fun. The BYU toiletries are awesome to get, and things of that nature. They're very welcoming, and but yeah, or like maybe the Wyoming forest fire away game.
I remember being on the sidelines watching both coaches, both ADs kind of standing there during warmups. They're trying to decide if they could even play the game.
Yeah. There was ash coming down. You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, you weren't there in COVID. Was that the COVID game? I don't know. We came out at halftime, and all of a sudden now there's 5 inches of snow on the ground.
Oh, I saw that.
Right. And Stets were going in to score, and it's freezing. Stets puts his hand and he yells, "Man, this is bullshit." And everybody heard it, and everybody's laughing. We snap the ball, we score, and he jogs off, and I go, "Did you just yell something?" And he's like, "Coach, I'm freezing." Hence why I've said that the Wyoming game this year is a concern.
Yeah,
because it's late November. You don't want to go to Laramie.
It seems like they go to Laramie. It seems like every Laramie game's late November too. I don't know why, but
because the snow and all that is the great equalizer when it comes to athletic ability. You can't have footing.
Yeah,
you can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Is it worse for an O-lineman or different? Or
no,
doesn't
it just sucks. I mean, the championship game against Fresno State, it was bad.
The overtime game, right?
Yeah, we had the rubber cleats, and
that was a missed. I think it was a missed extra point or something because of the snow that maybe cost you guys another championship.
I don't know, man. I'm not sure about that one, but yeah, for me, I didn't like it. I like those hard cleats on the bottoms. We didn't have it at the time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's even like the Jordan Love when those games when we went to Utah State and they had candy grams with Love for Heisman. And,
oh, that's right.
I collected those over when we did the media day at Green Valley Ranch, and I held on to them and I handed them out before the game, like Love for Heisman to the defense. And those are the memories that you enjoy to to kind of fire up a team, because that he was a really good player, and he is a really good player, and they felt like they had some good momentum that season.
We heard about Brad's push-up chart or push-up penalty chart in the room there. Tell us from your perspective what you thought of that.
I didn't mind it at all.
You never had to do any?
Not too many.
No, he didn't have to do too many.
Not too many. It was good to me. It was mostly fun for the young guys.
We heard you guys helped out Archie Lewis once when he had a lot to do. There was a
my man Archie, yeah. There was some times that must have been a habit fine that you gave him.
It was a. So I give personal fines. So if he spread his hands, didn't get his hands inside, I said, Arch, that's 25 more. Arch, that's 25 more. Arch, that's 25 more. And finally they're like, Coach, can we help? And I'm like, you guys can do whatever you want.
He said Ezra did one to help out.
Oh, he was stingy with that. He is stingy with that. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
There's so many good memories. I can go on forever.
Well, we got plenty of time, but tell us about Brad. Either be a practice, meeting room, game. Now that he's flipped over at least temporarily here to the media side and helping us out at BNN. What was Coach Bedell like to play for?
The best. I mean, just being able to coach you, and as long as you could take the criticism, and but the best thing about him is he knew how far to push you, and then bring you along and kind of love you up, and it really is the softest thing ever, because it's the opposite of being the softest thing ever, because he really pushed you and pushed you and pushed you differently depending on who you were. If you could take more, he would give it to you, but then he would reel it back and then bring you in and refocus you on why we're doing what we're doing. And also his history of playing in the NFL was super inspiring for all of us, and being able to hear from him that you're doing the right things to make it to the next level, if that was your aspiration, was super validating, and it felt good to be in that room. And even Jessica, taking us in, his wife and the whole family, and just it felt like a family.
Any good stories in game and practice? Anything that stand out to you about Brad getting on you or anything? Or
I mean, yeah, when I had a play, got the quarterback destroyed, all he did was run the tape back in the meeting of Brett getting destroyed, and that marked my time in my career. I took it on the chin, I learned from it, and then from then on we moved on, right? And he refocused that in me, because I didn't want to make that mistake. It wasn't something I did on purpose.
Was that the Washington State game?
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah, and it really benefited me in the long run, and allowed me to later on in life protect for Tom Brady. And you never want to get a quarterback hit, but that moment really changed the trajectory of my career. Not that I've always prepared extremely hard for each game, but it just really showed you how real it is on the field for an offensive lineman.
Is there a way to do that, Brad, too? I mean, there has to be an art to getting on a guy, but also not burying him.
There is. And excuse me, but it's also trust. And that's the thing is, when we started fall camp, or when I went in and the interview, I had to talk to these guys. And it's like, guys, you have to trust me. I am going to push you to where I think you're almost at your breaking point. And then I'm going to reel you in. And if you can have your trust in me that we're going to make it through this, we're going to be better for it. Right. And not only that, you're going to be a better person for it. And so that was my whole goal. I was going to take these young men to the brink before I've almost broke them. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to back off, especially early. Like when I got there, you were a sophomore.
Yeah.
So they have to get through something in life. And football is the greatest thing for it. And when they think they're dead tired and like, oh, I can't do this. No, yeah, you can. And then all of a sudden now, if I know I got them, now I'm going to reel it in and we're going to have some fun and do those types of things. But it's something that they need to go through, because you're not on the field with them, right? So when adversity hits, they're like, I got this. This is good. This is nothing compared to Dex, nothing compared to. So as a coach, I was completely opposite from practice to a game.
Yeah.
I was, and they didn't. I mean, if you've ever seen me coach in practice, it's like a raving lunatic, right? I'm on them. But in a game, I kind of stand. I don't stand off. I'm more of the teacher, maybe Dr. Phil, or something like that, because you don't want to bring anxiety on top of anxiety, right? So if I can write them in practice and just be as hard and demanding, I was very demanding. If your foot wasn't right, I was demanding. But in the game, I think that's different. I think you can't put anxiety on top of anxiety. And I've always been a firm believer in that. It's so
you'll have plenty of time after the game to get on them. It's about fixing the problem right there while you're in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot of time.
No, and it really did reflect, like, his coaching style reflected the NFL coaching style exactly. And obviously it has a lot to say with what he's been through, things that he's liked and did not want to recreate on the coaching end, and things that he loved and he wanted to recreate on the coaching end. But it was the same thing in the NFL. I mean, the coaches were extremely focused and detail oriented and very loud and aggressive, or whatever you want to call it, in practice. And then when you get to the game, it's done. I mean, you could obviously see new looks, make those adjustments, move on, maybe counsel your guys, or really just say the "let's go" thing that everyone likes to say in a game. But that's just the biggest thing about what he did. It was a flawless transition from college to the NFL.
The other thing is, I want to bring back, was that 17 is where we came back versus Colorado State, right?
Oh, that was a good one. Holy cow.
That's a good one. So it didn't go our way. And I literally was over and says, guys, we're going to win this game. We're down by 28. I was like, we're going to win the game. Don't worry about the game. We're going to win the game. You just got to keep on the plan. And the game plan and things like that. And then all of a sudden you saw it turn. And we needed the onside kick by Cedric.
Perfect bounce, perfect spot. Yeah.
But when you're as a coach and you're putting your balls out there saying, we're going to win, and we win, the players are like, all right, we're going to listen to everything.
That's the thing about Boise State. Like, when I was there, and every single week, there was no doubt. There was no doubt if we took care of our business and we trusted our plan, we trusted our coaches, and we prepared and practiced hard, that we were going to have enough to win the game. And if we didn't, it was most likely because of our own error and opportunities that we missed. And that's kind of the pride that we loved in that room. And Bedell really brought that vibe of, it's just us. There was no NIL. You can't leave. If you do, you're penalized. It's just us, and we got to find a way to make this work. And there's no other option.
I want to get back to that Colorado State game in a second, but we're visiting with Brad Bedell. We got John Molchon. This is Bronco Nation News. We're live here at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. If you have a question or a comment for Brad or John, they're answering questions about Boise State days. I want to get into the NFL here before we get out of here as well and talk about some of your days there. But first, I want to thank a couple of our sponsors real quick. Western Collective, the Horseshoe Golden Ale. Check them out. Horseshoe Golden Ale, a portion of every sale goes to the Horseshoe Collective to help the student athletes at Boise State. Check them out, Western Collective. And again, Due West, use that QR code on the social media accounts, or reach out and I'll send it to you. You get a free app and a dessert at the new restaurant down there on West Idaho Street. And we announced it earlier this week, but every away game we'll be having watch parties down at the National, which is the bar when you walk into the right there, as part of Western Proper Group down there on Idaho Street. So join us for the Georgia Southern game, 2:00 next Saturday with Bronco Nation News and the Horseshoe Collective. Our title sponsor is roepaint.com, roepaint.com. All your painting needs, whether it's that concrete coating, interior, exterior, residential painting, they can do it all. There would be no Bronco Nation News without our title sponsor, so please support them and consider Roe Painting for your next painting project. Idaho Central Credit Union, speaking of NIL, the Tyson Degenhart Show is back. We'll be back next Wednesday, I believe, with the next episode. A couple of newcomers will be the guests. Looking forward to that. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking. Check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Brad, we got it confirmed. Next Wednesday, we'll be out at Lithia, Florida, Boise. Looking forward to that. Game week, we'll have a show. It's going to be me and Brad. I think John Mallory is going to join us as well. I'm going to have a fun discussion there in the showroom. Maybe Jim Sturk will join us. But Lithia, Florida, Boise, come join us next Wednesday in their showroom, 9 a.m. broadcast. Looking forward to that. And again, they've got NIL deals. They have 4 football players driving vehicles from Lithia, Florida, Boise. So we appreciate Jim Sturk and company. And Rain's family has our F-150 from Lithia. Super happy with them. So appreciate Jim Sturk and company. Lithia Ford of Boise. Make sure you check them out and join us next Wednesday for the live broadcast there at Lithia Ford of Boise. Okay, the Colorado State game, it was 28-3, and then I think it was 35-10. Both teams traded touchdowns there. That was an incredible. You're down 14 with about 2 minutes to go or something. You get the touchdown, the onside kick. Jake Rowe, he scored one of the touchdowns. I forget if that was the tying one or the and then overtime, and then Leighton popped the ball out, right?
Popped the ball out. We got set on the onside, and then there was a pass interference that really helped us. That, to be honest with you, wasn't pass interference, but got that, scored, overtime. We scored. They're on the 2. Leighton punched it out. We win. That was the most wild game I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, also because the plays were explosive, but it wasn't like we had like 3 throws and it was a touchdown. They were all drives, and it was a grimy game. I remember they moved the fronts a ton. They had a normal 4-down look, and they had 2 really stout interior guys, and they had like a massive DB or something. They had like some really, really good players on that team, and I believe a really big tight end that ended up getting drafted.
Yep. And wasn't that like their first game or first couple of games in their new stadium too? So they had the light show going on and all that stuff, which now is becoming pretty common in college football. But they were one of the first to do the turning off the lights when the teams run out and stuff. And
the new jerseys too.
That's right, the state jerseys or whatever. Yeah,
they were blue for the record.
Yeah, they were.
They got new ones they just announced today that are white with blue that look very similar to some white. They say state across them. They're very very interesting.
Because the Colorado,
yeah,
their state flag's blue.
Yeah,
and so they're trying to claim this whole state thing. Colorado State sucks.
Hey, I got recruited to go there. I almost went because they almost sold me on that stadium.
That would have been a dumb maneuver. Oh, I'm a Colorado guy, so I don't like Colorado State, but and then I mean, rightfully so. But then that was the game that really ended up being the demise of Mike Bobo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Colorado State, they kind of returned the favor this year, though, with the crazy comeback at the end of the game when they won on the Hail Mary. There's some crazy games that happen there when Boise State and Colorado State play, I guess,
that's wild, isn't it?
In Fort Collins.
For Colorado State? I mean, I can't stand Colorado State.
Tell us how you really feel, Brad.
and they'll probably beat Colorado this year, which is okay. But
somebody says, wasn't it actually an unsportsmanlike conduct for some guy talking to Modster? Was it pass interference?
Right. You're right. That guy, whoever said that, they're
Robbie Robinson, big viewer.
Way to go,
Robbie. So
Robbie,
when was that got you guys down into the?
It was a completion on a stop route that was on our sideline that I think took it down to about the 35, maybe even the 28, and he stood over him. Robbie's 100% right. Monster caught it, tackled, stood over him, threw the flag. That put us around the 22 to 23, and then we scored.
Asta, let's see here. Cool J wants to know John's thoughts on the 2019 Florida State game and what a comeback after being down 13 at the half.
Hurricane Hank, is that what we're talking about?
I thought he was going to set a record, by the way. I don't think he won the job at Wake Forest, did he? I never saw the final.
I haven't seen it.
But I think he would have been the first quarterback to have 6 week 1 starts if he'd have got the Wake Forest gig. And somebody can prove me wrong here, but I don't think he got the Wake Forest gig this year. He transferred there.
Yeah, I know he transferred there.
Yeah, but if he got it, it'll be 6 week 1 starts, which is I don't think a quarterback's ever done with the new rules with the red shirting and all that kind of stuff. But Florida State 2019 supposed to be in Jacksonville, and then you guys had to rechange and go over to Tallahassee with the hurricane. That whole thing was crazy.
Yeah, what's going on? How do I not remember that game? Probably because I almost passed out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my favorite part about that game was like the way I looked in the post-game interview. I looked horrible. The mustache, I had a yellow, white shirt. So that was just a.
You remember
what did Larson say? It was so hot. And this is before I found out I was going to Tampa Bay, obviously. I mean, like we tried our best. We locked that thing down in the indoor and we did the
Inferno.
The heat training.
They just did one 2 days ago, yeah.
I mean, it works, but not that good. But
you didn't cramp.
No, I don't cramp.
Right. But you also had to play some tackle.
Oh my gosh.
That game.
Oh man.
Who went down in that game?
OJ.
Yeah.
That's OJ right. Went down. And that game, he was just a freshman. Was a DN and ended up being a first round pick.
Yeah.
Sweat. for Florida State.
Oh, that's right.
He was a really good player. And then God, do you remember Hurricane Hank? When I went over to him, I go, Hank, you got to get rid of the ball. And he's like, I love being hit. I go, well, stop being hit.
And he set a record in that game or something for most hit, like 30 hits or something.
Oh, my God.
If only like we could say that to the fans at the time. Because it started that I mean, that was a big part of the whole season of like, and Hank would come up to us and, we're boys to this day. And he's like, he would come up to us and get invigorated in the first drive to just take a lick on the face. And, like, Hank, like, that's not good for our business, bud.
How rare is that a quarterback likes being hit?
He's a weird one.
He's a different one. He's a good kid.
I love him.
I love him. I hope he has all the success in the world, but he did. And they put us in a bear front. I say it like five down, cover all line, and they started twisting. And we didn't pick up one, and he got smoked because Larson didn't get off on the defensive end. And he's like, Coach, it's fine. I go, no, it's not fine. This is not good. I was like, you're going to get killed. And he's like, no, I'm okay. And I go, I know you're okay, but I don't want this. And then at halftime, do you remember Laura at halftime when I came in to change his pants? He goes, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you want to bet?
Keeping it nice and dry down there is a premium, and it's even that much more at the next level. We could talk about that later, but yeah, Larson was done. It's like that was one of those games when you're like, do I really want to do this? Like what's the point? Like, what's the joke? You know what I mean? Like, right. It's hot as could be. We're all sitting there like huffing and puffing. Garrett needs like some sort of device to like get some oxygen down,
something,
which I don't know why we didn't have oxygen masks. Now that I was thinking about it, because it's in the NFL, but
I don't know.
Anyway,
that's not my realm.
By the way, they said the weight QB has not been announced yet, so he's still battling. He still could maybe get 6 straight.
I would be shocked if he didn't win it.
I love Hank.
I like Hank.
So toughness in our room was the number one thing, and that guy is one of the toughest dudes I've played with. And the ability to him make plays at that age, since he was so young, and he didn't have a full grasp of a defense at the time. He didn't have a full grasp of the ins and outs of a playbook like a Brett Rippon would have had his last couple of years. And his ability to do things on the fly, to be explosive, that is Florida State game. Like, that is exactly who he is and what he's about. So I wish him all the best of luck. That's cool.
By the way, somebody mentioning Shakir had an amazing touchdown grab in that game.
Oh, Shakir.
Florida State?
Yeah.
That doesn't shock me.
Yeah, not at all.
Well, really, Florida State lost that game because if you remember that game, we were driving on the 4, we fumbled.
You guys had multiple fumbles in that game, actually, first half.
Yeah, we fumbled in the second half. That should have sealed the game. Whoever was playing for Florida State, this dumbass tried to pick it up, scoop, and score.
Oh, yeah.
And then we recovered it and then scored to go ahead. And I'm like, remember that the next day I was like, guys, just get on the ball. Because if he would have just done what we're teaching at Boise State,
yeah,
this game's over.
Isn't that a lineman's dream, though? Or, a D lineman or whoever has a chance to pick up the ball? I mean.
Yeah, I was supposed to have a touchdown. They called it back. So I think that was New Mexico. I was upset about that. But I was also going to the new expansion side at home. But yeah, to Bedell's point, I think we got very lucky as well, because at the time, it was a very undisciplined team that we played against. And my highlight was at the end when we were just running the clock out. All we heard from the defense was how none of us are going to get to the NFL, and that they are at a premier university, which Florida State is an amazing university, and how they are going to all be in the NFL and we are not, and we're just guys from Idaho. And those are the things. That's why you go to Boise.
Did you ever run into any of those guys at the next level then?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah. At that point, it does not matter.
You told him to suck it.
And then you say hi. And you say hi to Dominican Sue. Nice to meet you. Like, no, and I'm not thinking about the Florida State guys.
As the Dominican Sue saying, "Don't touch me in practice."
As he's saying, "Don't touch me." I'm like, well, I'd like my job too, but we'll figure it out.
You mentioned the New Mexico game and getting called back. What about? I know Ezra at least got one pass completion. Tried to get in the end zone there. I think it was at Utah State. I forget, there was another one. I forget he could, but I think if he could have gone to the corner, I thought he could have beat that guy. But what was that like? The rare plays, the O lineman got involved in the trick plays.
A great debate of if he would have got it. I remember that.
Yeah, but he don't know, somebody messed up. Yeah, he hurt his hip that game on that tackle, actually. But then what people know, the same game, we designed a play where it was a lateral back to Ezra, and they pressed the wide receiver. And so he couldn't get the ball back off. So Ezra's running around. It was a pitch. He takes the corner. And they pressed him, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then it was said made a great decision just to eat the tackle and not have a turnover. Because we were rolling that Utah State game.
Yep.
Ooh,
that game,
fun.
we were rolling that game.
So Ezra never got the ball. He didn't pitch.
He didn't get the ball. Couldn't even get it pitched.
Wow.
That was another one that was really fun. The only touchdown actually that I in my whole coaching career was a part of was when Crabtree in COVID got a ricochet, caught
that's
it,
right. Yeah.
and then scored.
That's right.
I mean, of all people, old Crabby, shout out to Crabtree, getting married this weekend.
Love that.
And he scored during COVID. And then that's the only touchdown as an offensive lineman that I actually have been a part of.
What percentage of plays that you guys draw up actually get used in that you guys have actually get used? I mean, we've heard numerous times from Riley Smith that they had plays for him to pass it, and they had somewhere he was supposed to throw it back to Hank at some point on some play. Like, I mean, what percentage of plays that you guys actually run or have dialed up do you use?
I don't know. You got to tell me what's in the headset in the game. I feel like at times I didn't know who was calling that play, because I know obviously our coordinator would, but sometimes I feel like Harsin held it in his back pocket and it was a timely thing, whether it was momentum, whatnot. We always called it at the right time for the most part.
I heard he was very particular too, where some of these trick plays had to be at the 34-yard line on the right hash, on third down, on this. Like, it was very situational.
Well, because some of those plays you can only run in one hash. So we didn't practice it both ways. So it has to be the right thing. And so for educationally, everything within the logo, they call the logo the shot zone, right? Or the trick plays or something like that. So if you're within the logo, everybody's like, okay, here comes a shot. Here's a trick play, a reverse or something like that. And so we tried to not do that within the logo. But we would practice these plays constantly. And if they didn't get run, they just kind of transferred over. But also, you have to know zone, because some of these plays, they're only good versus zone. You can't run them versus man. And so if you're in man, it's out. So then you bank it, you move on to the next week, and then, hey, we're just going to carry this play over.
And then you have the whole sheet of plays that, which one's this again? Like, what's orange? Oh, it's the one where, I spin around and protect and they fake a handoff and I'm like his personal protector, or like, what's this play? And then you'll carry those out until you use them. And at some point you're like, shoot, it's time to use that thing.
They said they had some plays. I don't remember when the years overlap. Avery Williams, I know there was some where he was maybe going to get some carries, or there was going to be some packages for like just stuff that never.
That was 17.
Never came.
Yeah.
Never came, because Avery came to Boise State as obviously a kick return. He's been very successful, but as a running back.
Yeah.
And then he moved to corner.
And I remember in 18 too, the running backs were struggling. There was some talk. Wasn't 18 the game with San Jose? No, maybe I'm thinking of a different year. There were one of the years with him. I thought, well, maybe his last game, whatever year it was, Avery's last season. It was your guys' last game before you left to go to Auburn.
Yep.
I remember there was talk there down in Vegas because the running backs had really struggled. That there was maybe Avery. People put Avery Williams out there at running back. Why not?
Yeah.
It struggle's a tough word, to be honest with you, because we were going into COVID, and there's some players that didn't even get a chance to practice a whole lot because they just got out of COVID, and then had to play the game. That was just a weird time, but yeah, we had to practice Avery. We practiced a lot of guys at running back or wide receiver, because you didn't know really who was going to show up. Because, and not show up, that's not they
who's going to be eligible to play or whatever.
Who cleared COVID protocol.
Yeah.
And that whole year, and then we go into San Jose State was the championship game that we lost, obviously, and we got killed. But Crabtree showed up. He only had a day of practice. And he's like, I'm rolling. I got to play.
And you couldn't use Bates, right? Didn't get cleared in time.
They didn't use Bates. He didn't clear. There was a game that Bates was going to have to play offensive tackle. I mean, we had guys like tight ends to play offensive tackle. O-lineman to put on an eligible number, because if they got COVID, you're out.
Somebody on O-line did play D-line and had like 2 tackles. Was that Dooley? Not Dooley.
Dooley played both ways.
Somebody not only played, but actually had like 2 tackles in a game.
We moved Dooley to D-line during COVID because we didn't have enough D-linemen to play the game. And so that was the way it was. And then Rid got COVID before Wyoming, because UNLV got canceled because of COVID.
Yep.
So then I cleared COVID protocol, and then I went to the Wyoming game, and Rid missed the Wyoming game because of COVID. And I'm like, oh my God. And Rid's like, hey, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. And I'm like, Rid, it's Thursday. This is my first day back. I don't even know who I have. So then when I get there, and then there was a whole other mess of things. I mean, that Wyoming game is also the game, COVID, where I lost my dad 48 hours before that game. And so that was a whole wild thing about that whole situation with COVID, and I was actually relying on these guys. I called him and said, what's the NFL's protocol? But you guys were carrying around something.
Yeah, we had the trackers.
They had trackers. So they're tracking who they were actually
exposed to.
Thank you.
It wasn't just a blind, like, you guys are all done. It was based on how much time you spent with who was infected. And we did our daily PCR testing. And
right. And I was relying on that.
Relaxed.
Yeah. But I was like, what are you guys doing? I mean, how are you guys doing this? How are you guys doing that? How are you guys doing that? And they're like, Coach, we have no idea what's going on. Like, we're just showing up, and whoever's there, we're playing. Whoever's not, we're not. And it was a wild.
Is that the weirdest year you guys have been, or you've been a part of for football? I mean, just the whole COVID year had to be on both levels. Had to be crazy.
Oh my God, it's not a season.
I mean, you guys weren't even going to have a season. Then in mid-September, they decide, we are going to play 7 games or whatever at the end. Right. Somebody's pointing out, BSU Bill says the worst COVID game was BYU when Jack Sears got knocked out on the first or second play.
Quarterback sneak on the minus 45-yard line. The guy launched, hit him right in the head. And then we had to play the freshman who ended up
Jake Constantine. No.
He transferred to BYU.
Yes, not Jake
Sloven.
No. Who was it? Someone's going to say it in the chat right away.
Please say it. It was a disaster. And when that went down, it was a disaster because Sears started that game because of COVID. Yep. And then he get knocked out on a quarterback sneak, and then we had to play the true freshman.
Because the game before that, Hank was out, right? And COVID and Sears played great at Air Force.
Yep, beat him.
Cade Finnegan.
There
we go.
Yeah.
Thank you to the folks in the chat. I knew the chat would come through for us there. Yes.
God.
Yes.
Cade, you want to talk about a wild recruiting experience? Cade Finnegan was going to SC. And then we were emailing because he was on his mission. So we would email him constantly, and he can check his email like on Thursdays. And so that's how we got that done, is because the whole staff emailed him every Tuesday so he could see it on whenever, he had that opportunity. But yeah, that's why he came back, and Zach Hill put this whole plan together about recruiting this kid. And then we took off. He ended up transferring. I think he transferred to BYU. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and now it happens a lot in basketball. I haven't seen it as much in football, but we saw the quarterback Tiller that just went to Utah State, in conference transfers. But that's happening in basketball a lot now. Like Boise State's got a starting point guard now that for last 3 years was a starting point guard at San Jose State, and you got guys transferring in conference. I mean, it's one thing to lose a guy, but then to have to play against them the next year.
Well, I think this is where we're going down. We're going to go down a rabbit hole, but this is where the SEC's got it right. So if in the SEC, if you transfer after the season, you can go to another SEC school. But if you transfer after spring ball, you cannot go to an SEC school. That's why you see a lot of SEC players go to the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10 after spring ball, because there's actually a cutoff where you can no longer go to an SEC school. I think that they got that right in that regard. I mean, the SEC's they're on their own plan. I mean, whoever wants, if the SEC wants something done, they're going to get it done, and then all the other conferences are going to follow.
That's nuts. You can go in between conferences.
It's wild.
Tequila Gus is saying, didn't they have to get practice sheets from Harson's car so the fourth string could run some sort of play? I don't know if that's actually true or not. Didn't they go to below? Didn't Finnegan get hurt though, or they went further down the depth chart in that game?
Oh, we went
Didn't
really
something
down.
happen? Yeah, I mean, you had Nate. Was it Peters, the walk-on quarterback, or somebody?
There's a lot
Peters
of
got
guys
in
that
there.
are playing. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like that's the season. I think that is the only season that Boise State hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher.
Which you're playing 7 games or whatever. That's kind of it's messed up. That's why the streak ends. But
Not according to everybody else. We should have had 4,000 yards rushing.
Who would have ever thought that? Media fans?
You.
Oh, get out. I've told this story like 10 times, but I remember the first time Brad came up and at the James, we were doing a post-game show and we chatted whatever and we were off the air and he's like, hey man, I got to tell you, he's like, you're not half bad. Yeah. And I said, neither are you, Brad. You know, you guys are they're up there in the booth and are in the thing in the coach's office and we get the 5-minute interviews and we don't really get to know and hear the other side of it and how things are affected and what actually goes into it all. And then once you they come out of the building and we're able to kind of see both sides of it. I think you understand our job a little better, hopefully, and what we're trying to do. And I certainly understand the coaching perspective, the different side of it. So that's one of the reasons I've enjoyed having you on, Brad. Yeah, it's been fun to see both sides of it.
I would agree because tell a story about Virginia.
Oh my gosh.
Can we tease that for a second while I think a few more sponsors? Yeah. We got one more group of sponsors I got to think. We'll make the viewers hold on. We got a great story about Virginia coming up in just a second. But Bauscher Real Estate, BauscherRealEstate.com. Check them out. #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. And again, he helped us buy and sell our home. So check him out. Best in the business, Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, 13 locations across the state of Idaho. They got that location up in McCall if you're heading up for the weekend this fall. And again, Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, all kinds of locations for you to choose from. Download their Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off the checkout line at shopridleys.com. Today is Friday, so the trading cards are available right now at your local Jackson stores. The new 2024 edition, all Boise State football players are on the cards. You can get them at Jackson's. And again, Breezy Dubar, Ahmed Hassani, and they got some NIL deals going on for sacks and touchdowns. So we'll be telling you more about that. But go get the trading cards now at Jackson's. Snake River Pool and Spa, thespateam.com. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Snake River Pool and Spa. Again, highly recommend them, whether you're looking for a spa for the back patio or you want to get a pool table for the game room. They can take care of you. Check them out, thespateam.com. Taco Bell, we appreciate the Nicolason family SON management group. TacoBellWorks.com. If you're looking for a job, they are hiring. Great promotional opportunities and options for you there. And they donate a lot of money back to Boise State, so you can get more information on all their charitable givings. And we're going to get out to Taco Bell for another show here soon. So check them out, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. Transportation Compliance Service. You looking for a job? Want to get into the trucking industry? Check them out, Transcomp Service, TranscompService.com. All your trucking needs, your overweight permits, DOT permits, all that good stuff. They can help take care of you. Transportation Compliance Service. The Blue and Orange Store can take care of you as well. Get that new gear for game day, whether it's jerseys, caps, sideline apparel, and yes, they've got the Ashton Genty NIL Heisman shirts, all the new uniforms, everything you're looking for. The blueandorange.store.com, right there in the mall, second floor next to Pro Image, or you can just go to the Boise Town Square Mall, again, second floor, but go online, the blueandorange.store.com, and get all your Boise State gear, and they have some shipping deals if you make bigger orders. So the blueandorange.store.com, all your Boise State gear. Make sure you check them out. And then our friends at Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com, check them out as well. Lean Feast Meridian, healthy eating, 10,000 meal combinations, and it's all right there for you. Free delivery as well. So make sure you check them out at leanfeastmeridian.com. I mentioned that we are here at Circa Resort and Casino. We are signing folks up for the contest. If you're interested in getting in, we can still hook you up. $16 million in guaranteed prizes, 2 ways to win. And again, no rake. You've got the Millions contest, 126 ways to win. It's a $1,000 entry with $6 million in guaranteed prizes. $1,000 entry for the Survivor contest. They've got $10 million in guaranteed prizes. So I know Brad is signing up. We got a lot of folks signing up for the contest, so we're excited about that. You get the hat. I got to take these hats back to Boise, Brad, for some of the folks that we helped sign up for the contest. I know, I guess you and Rid, or you can each get one of your own hats, I guess, for the Survivor and the Millions contest, the different hats for the different contests there. So I'm looking forward, actually, Brad, on Wednesdays to be talking about the contest. And I know you're going to win the $10 million and then retire.
Just cut the check right now. But hey, I'll tell you this right now. For anybody who's not here, down here right now, like the event last night, and I'll tell you what a first class organization that Circa and the whole resort. We went to is that the D? What was
the D Las Vegas. It's a sister
Vegas?
property right down Fremont Street. Yep.
I mean, I mean, the owner of these two hotels are sitting, talking to people and having a drink with them and thanking people for coming. And I mean, I think last night and this whole organization's been unbelievable. And I mean, look at this. This is what a great event. And
Derek's walking around here in a pink suit somewhere. I just saw him walking around.
I saw that. And for anybody who did not sign up or right now, and I know it's budget for it, and next year come down here, it is an unbelievable experience. And I'm so happy I came. And
good, man. Well, we got to get your wife down here next time with you. We got to plan a little better on that.
Yeah,
maybe.
she's in school and she's doing her thing, and it's something that I encourage everybody to get down here because this is unbelievable run, first class organization, and it means something to them, and I respect that.
You don't see very many. You don't see very many. Billionaire casino owners just hanging out at the bar, talking to people.
Actually, there's one. I've seen one.
Derek Stevens was there, and you saw another former lineman that you played with in the NFL there as well.
John Jansen, who I played in Washington with. We got to catch up last night. He's doing some radio things, and
randomly saw each other, and we're like,
random.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. And that's one of the things about, and John's a part of that fraternity. When you play in the National Football League, you'll just run into somebody, especially in Las Vegas. But you'll just run into somebody and it's like you haven't seen him in 10 years, you haven't talked to him in a while, but you just kind of take off and
you're good.
Yeah, it's something, it's a fraternity that is very few.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, to be honest with you, because not everybody makes it. But when you're in that fraternity, it's like you're brothers.
Yeah, I saw you talking to Darren Banks. He's an executive casino host here. He played in the NHL, I think, with Boston, but he might be the only guy in history. He scored 2 NHL goals in one game and then never scored again in his entire career. And he has a ratio of 2 goals to like 2,000 penalty minutes. So he sounded like he'd be your type of guy.
He is my type of guy, and I had a chance to sit down with him and. You should hear some of the stories this guy's got.
No, he's a good man. I met him. I met him. Yeah.
Oh, when you came for the championship game.
First class. Yes. I'm serious. I met all these guys too, and not even at this event, at another event.
They came to. We did the night when Boise State played UNLV last year in the championship down here. Of a last minute thing. The night before the game, we set up a little party over at Circa. The basketball team was playing St. Mary's the night before, so we did a little watch party for the basketball game for anyone that was coming in town for the football game. I think Jay Tuss came over, did a live shot for KTVB. We had a lot of fans, whatever, showed up, and the whole Circa ownership crew came and hung out. Derek was wearing a blue sport coat for Boise State, and they had a fun time. And he loved seeing your ring. I know you got a picture with your ring. I think I remember that. But yeah, it is pretty crazy that they've been, and it started randomly for me actually after the 19 Washington Vegas Bowl when you guys lost that one. That's the first night that I met them, and it's kind of built up, and now they're one of our bigger sponsors, I would say, which is crazy. There's no legalized gambling in Idaho, and it's, why would they ever want to advertise in Boise, Idaho? But the viewers have returned the favor for them by staying here when they come down, and yeah, if you've never been here, it's the sports book inside is the world's largest sports book, and then the pools outside and the games that are on TV. We were watching some preseason football last night with a beer in the pool. I mean, it was pretty cool.
It was awesome. I think, and with Boise coming down to play UNLV, what a great opportunity to come here and kind of make this place Boise's hub to go. And Fremont's cool and the street's cool, and you don't have the hustle and bustle of the Strip. And I've really enjoyed my time.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have an even better day today. So if you're already having fun, give it another 24 hours here. And then we're going to be in the pool, hopefully at 9 a.m. tomorrow, watching Florida State and Georgia Tech. College football is back. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun here.
That's going to require me to get up earlier than I think I wanted.
All right, well, just get your bet in tonight then, and then wake up at halftime and hope you're winning or something. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully I catch the flight.
We do have it's until 3:00. All right, I'll make sure we'll be all right. We do have. By the way, you mentioned that game. We have a package that we put together. It's about $500, I think $499, and you get round trip on Southwest, 2 nights stay, and you get here's again Circa throwing a pre-party for anyone that's Boise State fans, because it's a Friday night game. That Friday afternoon before the game, they're going to throw a party and provide drinks and food, and then they're going to provide transportation to and from the game for folks that are coming here. So hopefully you'll come stay at Circa or the D. It is a busy weekend. The Chiefs are in town that weekend on a Sunday, so it's a little pricier than typical, I guess, with Chiefs fans coming in town here at Circa. But it's worth it. You get a room, you get come hang out, and as I said, they're gonna throw you a pregame party and then take care of your ride there and back to the game, which my understanding, Derek said on the show yesterday, it's impossible. Like traffic is a nightmare, I guess, to get to Allegiant Stadium, and only certain companies with buses can get close enough to the drop off, and they have a deal with the one company that can get you right up to the door. So instead of Ubering or whatever else, renting a car, like come over and party at Circa for that game, and then take the free ride over to the game and back. So
I would also say get here Thursday because you're gonna have Thursday night game. We'll have a game, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you can watch that one at the pool.
October 25th, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, October 25th. I'm excited for that one. Mom, Dad, if you're watching, you guys should probably book that. I may book that.
There you go. All right, so we're giving Circa plenty of love and well deserved. I want to talk about the NFL for a few minutes, but we got to hear the Virginia story here.
Oh man, so this was a fun game, not because of the scoreboard.
You got the shit kicked.
This was the home Virginia game.
Oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah,
they came in ready to go.
It was a Thursday or Friday, right?
Friday. Like that. It was terrible, but this was the only the room mattered at the time. We had to cancel the noise, but man, I've never heard Albertson Stadium that quiet in a long time. Obviously, we had the ball, but we did hear something. We were on the 15-yard line, going away from the expansion. Let's see, we're going to the new scoreboard. Yeah. And so the people behind us in those stands, which is now going to be the new expansion, we run a play, and it's like a pass play, and I believe my homeboy to my left just kind of lets someone get a sack, and gets the quarterback, gets a sack, and then we rehuddle. It's like ending halftime. We just got to get in, regroup. It's a tough game. All of a sudden, when we're in the huddle, I hear from the stands, 77, you effing suck. And I look at Ezra. I'm like, dude, that wasn't even me, man.
And you're at home.
And I'm at home. It was a Boise. I knew it was a Boise State guy because it was coming from someone in the tunnel. So I look around because we got the time. We're getting our tails kicked. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Ezra and I are having a whole conversation. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. That's on me. I'm like, oh man. But to hear that in Albertson Stadium, that's the first time in my career I could hear a single voice like that. And the vibes were exactly that.
No doubt.
Was that you didn't have very many of them, but was that the low point or the worst loss you had a home loss?
Yeah. I can't.
Embarrassing.
Can you? I can't.
I'm trying to remember all the years run together, but I can't remember too many bad ones like that where it was over pretty early and just never there. Well, I don't know if it's their speed or what, but they were just different.
They got us.
Yeah.
They got us.
And wasn't that the year right after you guys had just whooped them in Brett's first road start the year before? Or was that 2 years before? I know it was.
I wasn't here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. We went to their place. We were definitely not prepared for that kind of team. And I don't know what happened in the game, but I know me, I was, as a player, I went from tackle to, that was my first time at right guard. And then we got moved to left guard. So anyways, there's zero excuses. We sucked that game.
It's fair. They beat us. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. They kicked the shit out of us, and
the year still ended up all right, though.
Yeah.
It's 17.
Was that 17 or 18?
No, that was 16.
Oh, was
no,
it?
Wasn't 16 because I wasn't there. Spurback, that was at Virginia because he was there. So I think they went to Virginia off home, and then we got smoked.
Oh, yeah,
somebody will let us know on the chat, I'm sure.
Yeah, 17.
Well, by the way, everyone always makes a big deal about guard and tackle because you guys would do a lot of some of those years was injuries. Guys, every game. I'm trying to think of some of those guys. I mean, what's harder, switching sides of the ball or going from guard to tackle?
Guard to tackle.
You're going against a different athlete.
Yeah, just
right?
Two different types of things. It's speed versus strength in college. Typically, to have a DN be to promote strength is few and far between. But yeah, it's the jump in size and strength.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
College.
I mean, especially it's like you're inside, you're going against 310-pound guys, right? You can short set them, you can do different things. When you're out on that island and you've got speed and length
and time,
and good point, it's a different ball game, and that's why everybody you start them at tackle and you can move them in. It's like a corner, right? If you recruit a corner and he can't play man, he's going to safety. Period. It's the way it is. Same thing with offensive linemen. If you can't play tackle, you can go inside. Now, everybody that is listening or watching is not everybody can play center.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's where he's special. So John started at tackle. He started at guard, went to the National Football League,
And then I was a center. 6'5". I didn't have long arms though. You guys can look that up.
Did you do any? Did you take any snaps at Boise State at center?
No. I for fun, yeah. I would snap in the backyard or over there.
Right, because you have meetings, right? So I sat down with these guys and what's the goal? Are you going to pull, what's your end game? And I said, John, you have to learn how to snap. So you went into workouts knowing how to snap.
Yeah.
He has to snap because, no offense, you don't have the longest arms in the world. He's like a T-Rex. So
the same as my height. It's not short. I hate that. My arms are just not longer they're not freaky.
Okay, fair. But tackle, they want freaky.
Yeah, they do.
Ezra, they say his arms are too short to play tackle in National Football League. That's why he's playing guard.
Yeah, and I think what we haven't touched on interior-wise, what could be really difficult is the timing of it being really quick. It's nice if you can get your hands on him. Like Garrett Larson was really good at center because he is a wrestler. He loves that like small booth-like type of gameplay. Ezra, the athlete he is, he has that time to correct himself and just be athletic. Let's just say that. Recover. And so sometimes from playing center to tackle, that time is so quick and it's so different to where, it's fun if you can get your hands on them, but you could lose real quick. And that's the center, right? Like that's the middle of your pocket. So it's really fun until it's not.
Here's a fun one. You're going to love this one.
All right.
So, God, I can't remember the year. So we had an injury at center. So Garrett Larson had to start versus at BYU. And all week, his snaps just sucked ass. And I mean, it was everywhere in the gun. So I'm a nervous wreck. And in games, I go run because I've told these guys, I was like, don't talk to me because you're not going to want it's not going to go good for you. I'm not going to talk to you. You don't talk to me. Let me run. Let me get the anxiety or whatever I've got pent up, which borderline could be an anger problem. I mean, yeah.
Oh, after the team arrives, you mean? I'd see you out there running around the field.
I have to, because if I didn't take any, like some coaches can do energy drinks and all that. I can't. It's not going to go well. So we go to snap in pregame, and I'm looking at Larson, and he goes, "What's your problem?" I go, "What's my problem? Your fucking snaps are my fucking problem." And he's like, "It's cool, coach. I'm all right." And we go, and they were all on the money. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you. I am literally, this is not going to go well. Him and Ezra, they're like, oh, he's laughing. They're laughing at me. And I'm like, okay, shit rolls downhill, boys. I'm going to get one of you. Thank God they were okay. But I was a nerd. Do you remember that? I was a nervous.
We all were. And then it's funny because it's Garrett.
Yeah.
By the way, someone's commenting on with your muscles and your hair. We rename this WrestleMania Live, not
dude. That's
Bronco
awesome.
Nation.
That's who we should. Hey, I want to go back. Hold on, real quick, John. The transition you went in the National Football League.
Yes, we had a couple NFL questions here.
Yeah, not everybody. You had a different road, right? Yeah. Not everybody has the same road. But reminder, I mean, you won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and you actually protected a man by the name of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what was that, or what you want to share within the locker room and how he is? Those are things that these people will. I mean, you have somebody. How was he in the locker room? What kind of leader was he? And then touch on the center, like
the hygiene.
You want to get right into that? Okay.
His hygiene.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't want a shitty hand.
Okay. So it was a lot. My first day at work, I had to recollect myself. Not that I'm not the biggest football fan. Like, I'll be honest, I enjoy video games,
World of Warcraft,
and I love playing football. And so to see Tommy, it definitely was like, whoa, like
starstruck.
And that was the first time I ever felt that. And then, but obviously there's a job to be done there, and I wanted to make the team. But my first memory of him is the powder protocol and making sure that your girdle and that area was perfected. by making sure your towels were exchanged at the right amount of time, making sure you fold it correctly, making sure that it cradles your full undercarriage, and that when his hand is under there, you're not having any sort of distraction from when he gets it. It can't be too soaked for when he throws the ball, because it's vital. If it's the ball, you got to protect the ball. That's my job. And so yeah, you put a nice little like a tub towel. You fold that thing a couple times. You put that flap halfway underneath the carriage, and then you take a half a bottle of baby powder, and you douse that thing.
And that's it. That's his.
And no. Well, it depends. If you were a starter, you maybe had his type of baby powder, but I just used the old school, one where I'm going to have to have an issue with some sort of a recall. But anyways, you douse that thing, making sure that it's nice, powdery, and perfected. And you make sure that towel is being switched. So like when I wasn't playing in the games, my job, since I was a backup center, was to make sure that I was providing towels, wristbands, and hand towels to the center to make sure that their rear hind.
So Tom's okay.
Tom was great. Yeah. As far as the locker room, my gosh, this guy is incredible. Like the ability to wrangle the group together and to make it all about the team, like that is him. He never cared about himself. He was always reliable on the field. Even when you knew he was banged up, he was going to play. And to be honest with you, I should have never played with Tom on the field, but he wanted to play in that game versus Atlanta. And in a game that did not matter towards our playoff.
Is this the Super Bowl run?
This was the last year before I ended up leaving. So this was 2 seasons ago, not the Super Bowl run. We almost went all the way, but he didn't need to play. And he was 100% going to. No one was going to tell him differently. There's so much to talk about that guy.
Did he have his own separate area?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Brett Favre in Green Bay, he had his own separate. He didn't shower with the team.
No.
He had his own locker room.
Yeah. I mean, the Brady roast was.
I was going to ask you about that. What you thought of that?
It's pretty. From my experience in the Tampa realm, it's all pretty accurate.
That's wild.
He enjoyed his sandwiches. He kept. He's a businessman. He's of a higher business status, I guess is the best way to put it. And he has things he needed to do. But my gosh, he was focused. He did not sacrifice anything from the job at hand.
That's wild.
Somebody's BSU Bill wants to know the hardest guy you had to go up against in the NFL.
Grady Jarrett, Atlanta Falcons, by far.
He's a pretty quick one.
He's just slippery and quick. My first play, I just shot. It was a run play to the left. He was on my left side. I just flew off the balls. I'm just going to give it a go, see what happens. Just quick swim. And from then on, I was good. Just the first play. But that guy is a slippery guy.
Tell him about Ndamukong Suh at practice.
Oh,
like what people don't understand is in the National Football League, you explain it.
Yeah. So I am very, very thankful for my time in the NFL. I've learned a lot, especially from behind the scenes, from the practice standpoint, and just making sure we take care of our guys. Once when you get out of camp and you are grinding for your position, it's always a fine line between getting good work and not putting someone at risk who is a highly paid, highly compensated human being. And depending on you have to have the skill if you are in that role to know how hard do people want to go. And it's individualized based on who it is. The later you get in the season, the more lax it gets. But so like Ndamukong, like he would get some hard reps and then he would want to shut it down almost. And he would tell you before the plays being ran, he would give you that nod and say, listen, like, don't touch me. And like, that's not acceptable.
He's playing D-line.
Yeah, he's right. He's like 12 inches from me. I'm like, I can't just let you go by. I want to be here next week. And I don't have that luxury. That's kind of like the game you have to play. You have to continue to show that you're a viable option if needed for the game. You have to continue to prepare each week and know the game plan and be able to produce like that, but also take care of the highly paid and highly compensated.
Agreed.
This is a question for John, but I guess you could fill it. You could answer this too, Brad. Somebody Bronco 130 says, and again, we've got a couple minutes left here. If you got a final question or comment, we're approaching the end of the show here. We're going well over an hour, and I appreciate you guys giving us your time. So final couple questions here, thoughts. But what is the worst you received and the worst you gave while in a pileup?
Oh, well, I mean, it was the snapped ankle that we
Gave the Wyoming kid.
gave the Wyoming kid. For me, I don't know.
Any good pile-up stories, Brad?
No, not me.
Well, I got punched in the nuts.
Oh, I think you
shared
told that story.
I got punched in the nuts, and shout out to Tom Cable. He's living in Las Vegas. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I don't think I have a left nut." And he's like, "What?" I go, "I just got punched in the nuts so hard." He goes, "Dude," he's like, "Suck it up, go." So I got him, and so it was Kansas State, and it was like a rivalry between me and this other kid. He hit me and punched me so bad, I thought my nut ruptured. And I'm like, God bless. So later in the game, he was down right here, and I stomped on his hand, and I felt his fingers snap. And I'm like, that's your fault.
There was the other one where that guy pooped himself when we fell on him.
Yeah. Tell that one.
There was that one. No, I mean, it was just that was a queso thing, right?
Yeah.
Queso just landed on a guy, and I guess I don't know if it was a pileup, so it doesn't really answer the question, but that's always a good one.
You threw a shot.
Someone do that, so.
And he pooped himself. That's a good one. And then the other one is like, so there's there. I don't know if it's still there, but this actually hit ESPN. Is if you finish a guy, you can rip the towel off. And then, so this is before I got there. This was a scooter deal. So if you finish a guy, you can rip the towel off of him. And these guys were snatching towels like left and right. And so they signed them. So you'd autograph it, and then we pinned it in the room. Said, "Hey, it's a finish. You got his towel." And then it was Dixon.
Austin Dixon
snatched one at like field goal. And it went on Twitter, like Boise State snatching towels. These guys, John would snatch a towel, he'd shove it down his pants, and he'd finish the series, and then he'd jog off, and then he'd pull it out and he'd start waving it like he's like, "I got one, bitches, I got a towel." And then they'd autograph it, and then we'd put it in the room.
We want to collect them.
Yeah.
It was like
I thought you were saying you'd autograph it and go give it back to the other team afterwards.
They would ask for it back.
No. We signed them, and then I put it up in the room, and it was kind of like a badge of honor.
Yeah. What else we got?
Robbie says, John, what was the best moment you've had in the NFL coming across another Boise State player? We see the post-game jersey swaps sometimes. But anything in-game or
no
practice?
I actually didn't bump into no big interactions, unfortunately. I was either on practice squad at the time or just not on the field. So
the Super Bowl experience, though, and having a ring.
Oh,
somebody's asking about that. Just for anyone, I mean, it's a life. Whether you're the starting center, whether you're the practice squad guy, whatever. I mean, you got a World Series, you got a Super Bowl ring, and you have memories forever, and something that 0.001% of people in life will ever be able to say as a Super Bowl champion. Just that whole run and being a part of that and having that memory and piece of hardware forever. What's that like?
No, it's awesome. I always joke with my wife. I'm like, you know what? It is amazing. You're a doctor, but wouldn't you want to be called a world champion? And I always give her crap because really what she does is way better in the long run. But
she didn't get a ring.
Yeah, you're right. But hey, anyway, no, it was crazy. It was the longest year of my life. It was a long season, but it was so cool, so worth it. It's never something that fully sinks in. And the photos are awesome. Even going to the White House, it was amazing. No matter who was in office, it didn't matter. It's just a big honor, and you have to just keep replaying it because it's mind blowing. And Haley didn't even know how big of a deal it was. She was telling me last week. She's like, "I just can't believe that you were texting me after you guys beat the Packers at their house, and you were so excited." And everyone's asking me if I'm going to go to the Super Bowl. And I was like, no, why would I go to that? Like, I had no idea, she said, like how big of a deal it was. And I just thought that was so adorable. But yeah, it was amazing.
Well, what did you do with the ring?
Oh, it's at the crib, just chilling. It only goes out for like philanthropic things or.
Yeah.
For the kids, maybe.
How are your parents doing?
They're doing
always
really
enjoyed
good.
seeing them at the games. They were always the ones that were always at all the games and end up being on a lot of the same flights and stuff. But it's always, that's another thing, at least from the media side, and I'm sure coaching side, you get to know the parents very well, but always would see the parents at tailgates and things and always enjoyed talking to your parents. So
they love you, BJ. Yeah, no, really. That's what I love about media. My parents love this stuff, and it's so cool that you're able to provide this kind of news information to people like my parents. They love the updates. They love the program. They love the kids. They've been through it. They know what it feels like. They're doing really good.
That's good to hear.
And it really does feel good to have this homecoming with not only my parents, but Haley's parents. And I love her parents. And it's a good get together that we have going on over here. So life's great.
Safe to say we'll see you for the UNLV game, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
You getting a haircut?
No.
Okay.
When was the last time you got a cut?
I don't know. I think maybe before the wedding. I can't really remember.
It was long.
It was? Okay.
Yeah.
How long you been married now?
Let's see. 323. So what is it? August?
Year and a half?
4 months.
4 months.
323. I thought you were saying March of 23. I was like, oh.
Yeah, 4 months.
323 of this year.
He got married in Las Vegas. It's the coldest wedding we've ever been to. You remember that?
Oh, it was so windy.
It was outside?
It was at Green Valley.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was outside of Green Valley. They asked if we wanted to take it in, and we said no. We paid too much money to enjoy the green part of Green Valley, not the ballroom part.
It was fun. But that's another thing. It's all those guys came. That's when you know you kind of, you're close. You know what I mean? When you get a wedding invitation as a coach, it's like, especially my wife and all that, it's like, okay, we made a difference. You know, and you come in, it's like, you always want to go to weddings. That's what matters. The sacks or whatever you've given up doesn't matter. Fast forward, how they doing? You got married, and
the following week we were at their house. That's where we stayed for Ezra's wedding.
for Ezra's wedding. Yeah, he stayed at my house.
Oh, wow.
It's just, it's when it's a special time, and that's what makes Boise special.
Oh yeah, and that's what makes the fans special. That's what makes the place special. That's what makes the media special about Boise State. Everyone has the right motivation and the love of the culture that we have, and that place always needs to be protected. And I think that's why we're so hard on whoever's there at the time. It's just such a good place.
So as we kind of wrap this up, just kind of the first question, but obviously excited for the season, and as a all the blood, sweat, and tears you put into this thing to be able to crack open a cold one and watch these games on TV as a fan now. I mean, and just the excitement for the season, it's got to be exciting for you. And I know with the playoff and everything, I'm sure people, and like we talk about NIL, but it would have been awesome to be a guy that could have been a part of a playoff run. But now this group has a chance to maybe do that. And I know you're fired up for the team.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to trust their process and watch this thing all the way through and see you guys more. So
do you watch it from like an O-line person? Just one quick one. Do you watch like the whole thing, or are you just watching the O-line, not even watching where the ball goes?
Pretty much the O-line, right? I mean, that doesn't really change. I love the interior guys, but I love it all. I love it all.
Here's one. 17, sophomore. Do you know who the defensive GA was?
17 defense.
I know where you're going with this.
Spencer Dennison.
Oh, really?
So
that was his first year, right?
Yeah. So you actually had like firsthand with him as a GA.
Yeah.
And then he became, when they made the 10th assistant
edge
live,
coach,
he became the edge coach. And then he just moved, and now he's the head coach of Boise State.
I love that guy. I'm like, he fires me up. I just want to be around him. Like, and it feels good as an alumni. I will say this, hopefully on behalf of alumni, and I don't know how this couldn't be true to all of those guys. Like, he is so welcoming and loving, and he just really embraces you and what you've put in at your time. And that guy is amazing.
So, he's one of the first coaches that I can remember that comes over at practice to shake the media's hand.
Awesome.
Like, thanks for coming. Like, no, wait, what? We're not used to that. That's usually how long till you guys can get out of here. Not how you doing, but
thanks for having me.
And yeah, it was been a lot of fun, man. Really appreciate it. Brad, any final thoughts on on this guy right here, or being down here in Vegas, or getting game week is about to be here?
Yep. I love him. He knows that. I'm really just happy he joined us. And you know what? Last night was fun. Played cards.
I gotta bring that up real quick. I'm sorry. We won't get into the wins or losses. Your wife might be watching, but
no, it's a win. It's a win.
You finished up. We won't say how much or anything about that. But intel tells me, folks, here that Brad Bedell enjoys splitting face cards.
I do. I mean, everybody, and this is where it's going to go. Oh, this guy's stupid. It's called gambling for a reason. So I split face cards. So last night, the dealer was showing a king, and I split face cards, got a 10, split it again, got a queen, split it again. So I'm
multiple splits on the same hand.
I max them out.
What did that guy do?
This guy freaked out. And I'm like lost it. And I'm like, I told you I was going to do this. And if you have a problem with it, or you want to lose your money, if you can't afford it, get off the table. He freaked out even more, and I was like, okay, we're okay. It went so bad, like literally the dealer put the shoe in front and said, I'm stepping away. And I was like, it's okay. We're just having fun. We're having fun. It's good. Well, I came out ahead and he lost, which made him even more mad. What did I have on the next hand? Kings. Split them. And you know what? Everybody got wiped out. And I'm like, hey, man, it's okay. It's called gambling. I mean, if you're going to do it, do it.
Nate Staley says, if you split face cards with other people at the table, I'm leaving.
Now you know.
Well, you know
it's
what?
Fine. There's other tables, right? See ya.
And this place is loaded with tables, but I will tell that who is it?
That's Nate Staley watching from Austin, Texas.
Hey, Nate, he's the guy I'm going to buy a beer if he comes.
Yes, all right.
So I tell everybody when they sit down, I'm splitting face cards. We did it at your wedding, and Lar won thousands of dollars, and he thought it was the greatest idea of all time. I tell everybody I'm going to split face cards. I don't care if she's showing an ace, a king, a 6. I'm splitting it. And they're like, yeah, he's not doing this. And I do it, and they look at me like, you weren't kidding. I was like, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not going to BS you. And so it's then, and Nate, it would have been fun playing with you, but
to a smaller extent, it's like playing craps and playing the don't pass. You know, where
that's not that bad.
You're rooting for a 7, which means if you win, everyone else loses.
Right. The
casino actually wants you to win because then everybody else would be losing. You feel a little dirty. You kind of quietly take your money. You don't celebrate because everyone else just lost and they're pissed.
Right.
But I guess it's a little different because in blackjack, theoretically, everyone could still win. You're going against a dealer, not another guy.
You are, but you got to make sure what everybody else has. But
so it doesn't matter if I was thinking, okay, maybe splitting it against a 6 or something.
No,
you're doing it face card.
And I don't care if I have $25 or $500. I'm splitting it.
But why doesn't everyone just play the don't pass? Because it's better odds.
It's not as fun. That's what people tell me. It's not as fun.
It's the same thing, but you just got to get past the first roll.
You get past the first roll on the 7 or 11 and you're good. And then you all of a sudden have the huge advantage because the 7's more likely than any of the other ones. But it's more fun when you got all these different numbers and you're hitting all multiple things at once and everyone's cheering. But, there's that first 7 or whatever and all that money is gone. Yeah. And the one guy in the corner, which is usually me, kind of taking my, I wouldn't say usually, but the problem with the dad is you got to put a lot of odds up. Against a 4 or something, you put $100 to win 50, and then it's the random time they hit a 4, and you're like, oh, that sucked.Ey're all cheering, and you just lost your $100.
I don't even understand crops, so I don't even play it.
Okay, now they're saying, do you hit on 17 too?
No, that's stupid. That's just dumb. If you guys want to have fun, come to Las Vegas and split face cards and watch a dealer's face. She's like, you're doing what? I was like,
so is that
here you get it's free. You can have free double downs last night. I was shocked. And I'm like,
were you at one of those specialty tables or something?
I don't know what it was, but I was like, I'll double down. She's like, no, put your money away. It's free. I go, it's free.
They match the double down?
Yeah, Fremont's where it's at. Like, I was like when it comes to that.
I was like, what? No, I have to pay. She's like, no, it's free. And you win, you get the money.
Wow.
I was like, this is awesome.
Well, we got, depending on your son's football schedule, we got to try to get you down for the UNLV game and maybe do this again and get the whole crew and get Brad Bedell and then the whole crew telling stories out by the pool or at the blackjack table. Maybe we can raffle that off to a lucky winner. They can play blackjack with Brad Bedell if you're a paying subscriber. And
you know what? Everybody's going to, I ain't playing with that dumbass. He splits face cards.
It worked out last night.
It is the funnest thing. Guys, I mean, it's not And here, it's nice. It's $15, $25, whatever table it is.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you that if you're going to gamble. I mean, if you lose, you lose. And that's why people have budgets. Trust me, I came into a certain dollar amount.
Yeah.
If I lose it, I lose it. If I win it, I win it.
Yeah.
And I don't bring my ATM card. It's cash, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, they get you here at the 20% fee or whatever to go take out more cash. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely not good to take out money at a casino on the ATM.
No. You're better off getting a marker.
Yeah. But after the show is over, Brad, we'll be at some point here this afternoon heading down to the sports book to sign you up for these football contests.
Yep.
We're going to have fun with that. And again, that's why we're here, the contest weekend. If you want to sign up, let me know. We can help you out. You got to sign up in Vegas, but using our proxy, Tom Carroll, you can play from anywhere in the world. They've got the 6 million NFL Pick'em. They got the Millions contest. They got the 10 million with the Survivor contest. So Circa is, if you're a sports fan, Circa Sports is the way. I can only imagine, Brad. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday at the pool, what an actual college football Saturday or an actual NFL Sunday would be like out there at the pool.
Have you been here?
Oh, I've been here, but not at the pool.
You haven't? I couldn't only imagine how cool that would be. I mean, like I told you before we came here, this has always kind of been a bucket deal. Like I've always wanted to just go and see this pool.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you get there and it's like, okay, you've seen a lot of pictures, and when you get here, it's like it's exactly what I thought.
And it wasn't that crowded yesterday, which I guess is not a bad thing necessarily. But you get a Saturday or Sunday, and that thing's raw. I mean, I told you we came down for this to watch the Super Bowl last year, the year before, and it was awesome experience. We didn't get in the pool; we just kind of stood outside and watched it. But it was it's a pretty cool. And Derek Stevens, the owner, I mean, he's a huge sports fan. So you don't have a spa here for the ladies. You don't have a theater here for shows and stuff. It is sports.
No, it's sports.
That's cool.
The other thing is like everybody says, oh, Vegas, you buy a beer, it's this amount of money. They're not 12-ounce beers. They're 16 to.
Oh, they got like the 32 huge cup beers here. Yeah.
Yeah. They're big beers.
They're going to take care of you.
And they take care of you, and it's worth it. It's like going to see a game at Petco.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's complaining like, oh my God, the beer's $18. It's a 32-ounce beer.
Well, also you could just play blackjack and split, face cards.
You get free drinks. You get free drinks at the blackjack table.
So you have
take
to
advantage of that.
Face cards.
As long as you're playing, you get free drinks.
Allegedly, I took advantage.
Okay, well, I was making sure you knew.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
Okay,
she, the waitress came by frequently, and I even stopped asking. She just kind of put it down. I'm like,
oh, he's one of those. Well, in the high limit room, where Brad was playing.
No. There was no high limit room. I was actually playing with some Boise State fans.
Okay,
some Boise people.
All right,
and they even started splitting face cards.
Oh man. Look what you've done. You're starting this movement of split. They're going to ban you from the casino here pretty soon.
They ban me. That's all right. It's not the first place I've ever been banned from.
John, appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. Brad, always fun, man. Appreciate it. A lot of fun here. If you missed any of the show, you can go back and watch it in its entirety on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. But again, contest weekend. Excited to be down here in Las Vegas. You can get more information at circasports.com. And we'll be back Monday morning, I guess. Mike Prater and I will be game week. We'll have Spencer Danielson's weekly press conference, Dirk Cutter, and we'll be talking to Eric Chenander as well, the coordinators, getting you set. Georgia Southern is on tap, and again, that watch party will be at the National down there at Western Proper. Come hang out, make plans to watch the Georgia Southern opener with Bronco Nation News in downtown Boise. So have a great rest of your day. We're going to go sign up for these contests. Let us know if you want in. And again, thanks to John and Brad and our man Jason Beaver for setting up the equipment over here. Having a lot of fun in Las Vegas, and have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you Monday. Game week is here. Get ready for some football, folks. This is Bronco Nation News live from Circa Resort and Casino contest weekend. Having a lot of fun here at BroncoNationNews.com.